Have you ever chased something so hard that it felt like the universe was laughing at you? You tighten your grip, you force yourself to hustle harder, you push until your heart is exhausted, your mind is numb, and somehow the thing you want most keeps slipping further away. It's almost insulting, isn't it? People say when you stop caring, the results come, and you're standing there thinking, what the hell does that even mean? Well, that's exactly what we're breaking down today. Welcome back to Stoic Minds. I'm Amelia, and tonight we're diving into one of the most misunderstood mental battles people face in love, dating, and self worth. Because sometimes the thing blocking your blessing isn't fate or luck or other people. Sometimes the thing blocking your blessing is you and the fear you're pretending you don't feel the truth you don't want to hear. Let me ask you something and be brutally honest with yourself when you think about finding love, getting the girl, being chosen, being desired. Does your chest tighten? Do you feel that sting of anxiety? Do you stay awake at night replaying your failures like a movie you never asked to watch? Because here's the twist. You think you're chasing love, but what you're actually chasing is escape. Escape from loneliness, escape from rejection, escape from that quiet fear whispering, what if I'm not enough? And fear, that emotion living in the shadows, that emotion that pretends it's motivating you, is actually the saboteur. Fear doesn't pull love closer. Fear repels love like poison. I know that's hard to swallow, but you're here on Stoic Minds because you want the truth, not the fairy tale, the culture of overchasing. You've been programmed to grind, hustle, sacrifice sleep, sacrifice peace, sacrifice joy, and then somehow apply that same chaotic mindset to relationships. Work harder, try harder, text more, impress more, be more, do more, until you burn out emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and all that effort still doesn't bring you closer to what you want because you're operating from lack, not power, from fear, not love, from desperation, not confidence. And here's the part people refuse to admit. When you're chasing someone out of fear, you aren't pursuing love. You're pursuing validation. You're trying to fill a hole inside you by forcing someone else to love you enough to quiet it. But the hole doesn't close, it widens. And that is where the phrase the results come when you stop caring actually starts to make sense. The psychology of stop caring. Let me be clear. Stop caring doesn't mean surrendering your life to Netflix, Cheetos, and numbness. It doesn't mean becoming a cynic. It doesn't mean giving up on love. What it really means is this: stop caring from fear. Start acting from peace. That is the difference. When you stop caring about the outcome, not because you're lazy, but because you trust yourself, that's when everything shifts because fear tightens. Peace opens, fear suffocates. Peace attracts, fear makes you chase. Peace makes you magnetic. You cannot be magnetic and terrified at the same time. The moment right before you burn out, I want you to check in with yourself right now, not tomorrow, not after this video, now. Are you tired? Are you frustrated? Have you been fighting so hard for love that it's starting to feel like war? Because that exhaustion is the sign that you are operating from fear, not desire. And if you don't switch your internal state, you're going to keep chasing things that run away from you. You're going to keep wanting people who don't want you back. You're going to keep attracting relationships that drain you, not because you're unworthy, but because your energy is speaking fear louder than your words speak love. The shift begins here. Part one ends with this truth, a truth most people spend years avoiding. The moment you stop begging for what you want is the moment you finally become someone worthy of receiving it. Not because you stopped caring about love, but because you started caring about you. And when you care about you, the world starts caring too. Before we go deeper, I need to warn you. What I'm about to say might sting. It might crack your ego. It might reveal truths you've been avoiding for years. But it will also set you free because the most dangerous lies are the ones we tell ourselves. So listen closely. Your life may finally start changing after this part. The shadow side of desperation, when you want someone or something so badly that it consumes your thoughts, your sleep, your emotions, your self-esteem, you don't realize it, but you stop chasing the person. You start chasing the emotion that person represents. Love, security, validation, belonging. But here's the dark truth. You can't outrun loneliness by sprinting towards someone else. You can't silence self-doubt by begging another person to choose you. You can't fix internal emptiness with external approval. Desperation doesn't attract love. It attracts users, manipulators, takers, and people who sense your hunger and feed on it. You think you're showing commitment. They think you're showing weakness. And weakness in the emotional world is blood in the water, the energy people can feel before you speak. Most people don't understand this, but humans have an evolved psychological radar. Before you even open your mouth, your body language, your vibe, your aura signals one of these. I'm enough, or please pick me. And here's what's terrifying. You can't fake the first one. You can't pretend to be confident while drowning inside. You can't mask emptiness with flirting, texting, or trying too hard because the mind sees behavior. But the subconscious feels energy, and energy doesn't lie. When you stop caring from fear, when you detach from the outcome and genuinely believe you are enough, you stop broadcasting desperation, you start broadcasting confidence. And confidence, even subtle confidence, hits the human brain like gravity. People feel pulled toward you without even knowing why. The mental prison of trying too hard. Let's talk about something almost no dating coach will admit. When you try too hard, you don't look strong. You don't look romantic. You don't look dedicated. You look like someone who believes they aren't worth choosing unless they fight for attention every second. You look like someone who believes love must be earned, not received. You look like someone who doesn't trust themselves. Trying too hard is emotional self-betrayal. You are telling your subconscious, who I am right now is not enough. And your subconscious, the part of your mind that controls confidence, attraction, and charisma, believes you. Why surrender is power, not weakness? Surrender is a word people hate because they think it means defeat. But in psychology, surrender is power. It means I have done what I can. I choose peace over panic. I choose self-value over self-doubt. I release control because control is killing me. Surrender doesn't stop your effort. It stops the anxiety attached to your effort. You can still pursue love. You can still improve yourself. You can still take action. But you do it from a place of calm clarity instead of frantic desperation. And that difference is what makes results finally appear. Because nothing repels abundance like fear, and nothing attracts abundance like peace. Your subconscious is listening. Let me give you the raw psychological truth. Your subconscious mind controls 95% of your emotional decisions. It listens to your inner dialogue more than your outer actions. So when you say, I need this person, your subconscious hears, I don't have value on my own. When you say, I must make this work, your subconscious hears, I'm powerless unless they choose me. When you say, I can't lose them, your subconscious hears, I'm not enough without them. And what your subconscious believes becomes your emotional reality. This is why surrender works. When you stop caring about the outcome, you tell your subconscious, I'm safe, I'm enough, I'm whole, and what's meant for me will come. And then your behavior shifts, your vibe shifts, your confidence shifts. People notice, opportunities notice, life notices. The door you've been blocking without knowing. Let me end part 2 with this. Sometimes the thing you want is standing right outside your door. But fear, obsession, desperation, and self-doubt have stacked furniture in front of it. You're not locked out. You're blocked in. And surrender is the act of clearing the doorway so the things meant for you can finally enter. Before we go deeper, I want you to imagine something. Imagine standing in front of a mirror. The version of you that chases, begs, worries, overthinks, they're staring right back at you. And suddenly you ask yourself, when did I lose the version of me that used to feel enough? That question is where transformation begins. Because before you can stop caring in a healthy way, you must understand why you started caring in a destructive way. And the answer lies deeper than you think, the childhood root you never noticed. Yes, we're going there. Because in stoic minds, the present is never the full story. Your patterns today are echoes of yesterday. When you chase people who don't choose you, when you care too much too fast, when you cling to the idea of love like it's oxygen, it often comes from one of these roots. 1, you didn't get consistent love growing up. You learned that love must be earned, not given. 2, you were praised only when achieving, so you feel valuable only when you perform well. 3, you feared losing people, so now losing someone feels like losing your identity. 4, you were taught that self-sacrifice is noble, so you confuse suffering with love. And the adult version of you is still trying to fix wounds that were never your fault to begin with. You think you're chasing a relationship, but you're actually chasing closure from the child inside you who still feels unworthy. The fear of not being enough. Let's uncover another layer. You think you care so much because you're passionate. You think you're trying hard because you're serious. You think you're giving everything because you're devoted, but the psychological reality is harsher. You're terrified of not being enough, terrified of being alone, terrified of being forgotten, terrified of being rejected. And fear is a demanding master. Fear makes you text fast. Fear makes you overthink. Fear makes you chase. Fear makes you break your boundaries. Fear makes you love in a way that hurts more than it heals. But here's the twist. Fear never gets you what you want. It only gets you what you fear, because the mind attracts what it rehearses. If you rehearse loss, you attract loss. If you rehearse rejection, you attract rejection. If you rehearse not being enough, you behave like someone who isn't enough. This is the darkest loop of all the psychology of pulling back. So, Amelia, if fear pushes love away, then what pulls love in? Great question. It's not confidence. It's not charisma. It's not pretending to be detached. It's this emotional neutrality. People misunderstand this concept. Emotional neutrality doesn't mean cold. It doesn't mean robotic. It doesn't mean uninterested. It means I can desire you without needing you. I can want you without depending on you. I can love you without losing myself. When you stand in emotional neutrality, you project a calm, grounded, magnetic energy. You stop looking like someone searching for a lifeboat and start looking like someone who is the lifeboat. People feel safer around you. People feel more drawn to you. People feel more curious about you. Why? Because humans crave the rare energy of someone who is whole. Why pulling back creates attraction? Here's the psychological explanation. And once you understand it, you'll never unsee it again. The human brain craves contrast. When you chase, pursue, pressure, and cling, you become predictable. Predictability kills desire. But when you pull back, when your energy softens, when you stop trying so hard, the mind of the other person experiences a sudden shift. They wonder why you're calm. They wonder what changed. They wonder what you realized. They wonder what you're focusing on now. Curiosity replaces certainty. Interest replaces comfort. Attraction replaces familiarity. And suddenly they start chasing you. It feels like magic, but it's just psychology. The power of silence and stillness. Let me teach you something powerful, something no one explains clearly. Silence is not absence. Silence is presence without pressure. When you stop over explaining, stop oversharing, stop panicking, stop trying to force outcomes, you create space. Space is where attraction breathes. Space is where self worth grows. Space is where clarity returns. Space is where the right people step in. You may think silence pushes people away, but desperation does that much faster. Your silence is not running away. Your silence is choosing yourself. The transformation is beginning. Here's what part 3 means in your journey. You're not just learning how to stop caring. You're learning how to stop fearing. You're not just pulling back from people. You're pulling back from the old version of yourself. You're not just letting go. You're stepping into a stronger identity. And when you do that, people will feel it. Life will adjust to it. Love will respond to it. Because the universe does not reward desperation, it rewards alignment. If the first 3 parts opened your eyes, this part is going to open a door you didn't even know was locked. Because knowing why you care too much is only half the journey. The real shift happens when you change how you show up in the world. Tonight, I'm not talking to the version of you that chases, worries, and overthinks. I'm talking to the version of you that's been hiding underneath all of that. The version you were always meant to become. And after this part, you will not look at yourself the same way again. The psychological reset. Step 1, interrupt the fear loop. Fear thrives in silence. Fear thrives in your mind. Fear thrives when you don't question it. So the first step is this: interrupt the loop. Every time your mind says, what if they leave? What if they don't choose me? What if I'm not enough? You don't argue with the thought. You interrupt it. You say, even if that happens, I will still be whole. This is powerful because the brain expects panic. When it receives calm instead, the fear loses its weapon. You aren't eliminating fear. You're taking away its leverage. And that's where self-control begins. Step 2, shift from chasing to attracting people. Talk about being high value like it's an aesthetic. It's not. It's a psychological state. High value energy means I focus on building myself so the right people naturally move toward me. This shift is everything. When you chase love, you empty yourself. When you attract love, you fill yourself. This doesn't mean sitting still. It means your effort goes inward, not outward. Instead of obsessing over someone's interest, you invest in your presence. Instead of waiting for a text, you build a life worth texting you about. Instead of proving your worth, you embody it. Attraction isn't something you create consciously. It's something you radiate subconsciously, and it only appears when your energy returns home to you. Step 3, calm your nervous system. This is the part no one talks about. Your nervous system controls 90% of your clingy behavior. When you're anxious, your body screams, don't let them go. So you chase, you panic, you cling, you lose control. But when your nervous system is calm, you stop acting out of survival mode and start acting out of self-respect. Here's how you calm it quickly. Cold water on your wrist slows your heart rate. Box breathing 4 seconds in, 4 hold, 4 out, 4 hold signals safety to your brain. Drop your shoulders and unclench your jaw. Instant psychological grounding. Speak slower and move slower. Slowness signals confidence. These are not mindfulness tricks. These are psychological rewiring tools. Calm your body and you calm your desperation. Calm your desperation and you restore your power. Step 4, reclaim your self-respect through boundaries. This one is hard, not because boundaries are complicated, but because they trigger your deepest fear. If I set boundaries, will they leave? Here's the truth. If someone leaves because you respected yourself, they weren't meant for you. Boundaries filter out the ones who only liked you when you were abandoning yourself. Your self-respect is the gatekeeper that protects your energy. A person who wants you will come closer when you set boundaries. A person who only wants control will run. And that's how you know. Step 5, embrace controlled detachment. This is the secret sauce of everything we've discussed. Controlled detachment means I care about the connection, but I am not controlled by the outcome. Here's how you embody it. You respond, but don't rush. Rushing signals insecurity. Pacing signals stability. You give, but don't overgive. Matching effort protects your emotional value. You show interest, but never obsession. Obsession is repellent. Interest is attractive. You stay present, but keep your individuality. When your life is full, you never cling to one person. Detachment isn't being cold, it's being emotionally self sufficient. And nothing is more magnetic than that. Step 6, build a life that doesn't stop for anyone. Here's a truth that changes everything. People are attracted to people who have momentum, goals, passions, direction, self respect, identity. When your life keeps moving, whether someone enters or leaves, you become unstoppable. Your energy becomes rare. Your presence becomes valuable. Your absence becomes noticeable. This is where the transformation completes. You stop caring about losing someone because you finally realize you cannot lose yourself. And when you stop caring from fear, that is the moment. Life starts giving you what you wanted all along. The reveal. This is who you were meant to be. Part 4 marks the beginning of a new identity. Not the chaser, not the overanchor, not the one who begs for love, but someone who radiates self-worth. Someone who attracts without trying. Someone who moves with calm confidence. Someone who walks away from anything that demands self-abandonment. This is the version of you that brings results. This is the version of you that people respect. And this is the version of you that love recognizes. Take a deep breath because what I'm about to tell you is not just information, it's the closing chapter of the version of you that's been suffering in silence. Everything you've been through, the heartbreak, the chasing, the sleepless nights, the overthinking, the self-doubt, the anxiety, it wasn't weakness. It was a lesson preparing you for the moment you stop living in fear and finally step into your power. And that moment is right now. The person you've been chasing isn't who you think. Let's strip away the illusion. You think you've been chasing someone specific, a person, a relationship, a fantasy of love, a picture in your mind of what happiness looks like. But the truth is deeper, darker, and more beautiful. You are not chasing them. You are chasing the version of yourself you believe you'll finally become if they choose you. You think love will make you worthy. You think acceptance will make you whole. You think attention will erase your doubts. But my love, no one can give you the identity you keep abandoning. That's why you hurt so much. Not because you want them, but because you want you. The real result you've been begging for is not the relationship. It's self-restoration. And when you finally reclaim yourself, everything else starts to fall into place. The dark moment before transformation. Every life transformation has a breaking point. A moment when you collapse into yourself and whisper, I can't keep living like this. That moment feels like failure, but in psychology, it's the doorway to rebirth because your mind cannot evolve while trapped in survival mode. It needs the breakdown to trigger the breakthrough. And that's why the phrase results come when you stop caring is not about apathy. It's about release. You're not giving up. You're letting go of the version of yourself that needed fear to feel alive. When you stop caring from fear, you start caring from truth. This is the part people misunderstand. When you stop caring about the outcome, you don't lose your passion. You don't lose your desire. You don't lose your ability to love. You lose anxiety, attachment, obsession, fear, desperation, the need for external approval. And when those fall away, what remains is clarity. Clarity about who deserves your time, clarity about who deserves your heart, clarity about what you bring to the table. And clarity is magnetic because people are drawn to those who know who they are with or without validation. That is emotional power. That is psychological gravity. That is what makes results finally appear. The psychology of becoming the prize. You've heard the phrase, be the prize. But it's not a mindset. It's a psychological state. You become the prize when your peace matters more than someone's presence. Your self-worth is not negotiable. Your life continues with momentum, with or without them. You walk away from attention that's inconsistent. You stop begging for energy that drains you. You value yourself enough to not chase what isn't choosing you. And here's the beautiful twist. When you truly embody this, people feel it instantly. And the ones who once ignored you suddenly look at you differently. Not because you manipulated anything, but because you released the energy that repelled them. This is why the results come when you stop caring. Your value speaks louder when your fear is finally silent. The version of you they were meant to meet. Let me tell you something important. The right people don't want the desperate version of you, the panicked version of you, the overthinking version of you. They want the version of you who is grounded, stable, confident, and whole. The version of you who isn't terrified of losing someone. The version of you who radiates calm instead of chaos. the version of you who knows how to love without losing identity. This version, the one rising inside you right now, is the version that makes life finally align. And that brings us here, the final shift, your new identity. If you walk away with one truth from this entire series, let it be this: stop caring about outcomes, start caring about alignments, stop forcing connections, start rewarding yourself with peace, stop chasing validations, start recognizing your worth, stop fighting for attention, start attracting through self respect. The moment you stop saying, please choose me, and start saying, I choose myself, your life recalibrates. The anxiety fades, the magnetic energy returns, the right people come closer, the wrong ones fall away, and the results you used to beg for start showing up effortlessly. Not because you stopped caring, but because you finally cared in the right direction. Before we close, lean in for a moment. I want you to understand something deep in your bones. You are not behind. You are not unworthy. You are not broken. You are not too late. You are simply becoming the version of yourself that life has been waiting for. And once you fully step into that identity, love will find you, opportunities will find you, peace will find you. Not because you chase them, but because you finally stopped running from yourself. Welcome home.